line. You may be wondering, why is this man shoving cucumber down a juicer with a fork instead of a plunger? Well, someone dropped the ball and didn't send a plunger with this machine. Whoops. So Rachel sent them an email that went something like this.
Hey, I ordered this juicer and it didn't come with a plunger. What's up with that?
To which the juicing company, who shall remain nameless, responded with,
We found that the plunger is out of stock. I consulted our support and the resolution that he provided is to replace your machine with a new unit. Please see the details below. We would need a photo of the power cord cut on your machine so we know it cannot be used any longer. Make sure cord is unplugged. A photo showing the whole machine with the power cord cut. Once I have that information, I can process the warranty request for you and we'll call you back to ask for your credit card details, blah, blah, blah.
So Rachel was like,
I'm sorry, I'm confused. You want me to cut the power cable off my juicer because you don't have any more plungers in stock? Just trying to understand what you need.
and they doubled down with,
Yes, you read it right. We need you to cut the power cable off. Make sure cord is unplugged. Since the pandemic started, we no longer return units. Instead, we do cord cutting, so the customer won't be able to use the machine anymore and just replace it with a new unit, same model.
to which we were like, hold the phone. Why would we condemn a perfectly good brand new $500 juicer to the landfill because they did not have a 20-cent piece of fruit plunging plastic? And then we thought, why not just Photoshop a chopped off cable, send it to them, get a new juicer, and then donate this one to someone who could use it? But that's when our lawyer reminded us that this would constitute fraud. And since we are law-abiding citizens who do not engage in fraudulent behavior, we're gonna show you what we're not gonna do. And maybe this nameless brand will do the environmentally conscious thing and rethink their policy. And thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Here's the real cable that I don't want to cut. So I'm looking out of my spare IEC cables. I have this one, which doesn't match that well. And I found this one, similar gauge, thickness, and pretty similar. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one. All right, so I'm just gonna cut a little bit off of this sacrificial cable, and I can use that for visual reference to Photoshop in over the real cable. So give a little snip.
Hypothetically.
For demonstration purposes only, obviously. Boom. Sorry, little guy. You've been great. Okay, so there's gonna be two main shots. One is gonna have the cable bunched up over here, and then the other shot is gonna have the end of this over here. And so that way, when I Photoshop it together, they'll clearly be like separate, not connected. So the first shot is the plate, which is gonna be a clean countertop right here. I'm gonna lock exposure and focus where the main part of the cable is gonna be. Then I'm gonna move the cable out of the way, take the shot, and then I'll shoot the rest of my photos. Press and hold to lock exposure and focus. Move it out of the way. That should be good, right? Yeah. Take the photo. Now I can move it back in. I'm gonna have, there's a little mark on the countertop where I'm gonna line up this cable. Click right there. I have a visual mark, so I know where to put my visual reference. So now, visual reference comes in, facing the same direction.
You want me to come hold it?
That should be good. Take the photo.
Here, let me try like this.
No, I see the white writing. You can't turn it.
Let me just try like putting it down like that.
Since there are some slight differences in the ends, I want the real end here. I'm gonna line it up with another visual mark on this counter. Oh wait, it's not in frame. Gotta keep it in frame, obviously. I feel like that's pretty good. What do you think?
I would move it just a little bit to the left.
Like this way?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, I'm gonna take the shot. Now my visual reference of what the cutoff cable is gonna look like. I'm gonna put right here. Take the shot. All right, now we can head to the computer and Photoshop. All right, now that the photos are done, I'm gonna hop into Photoshop and show you what one could do if one wanted to engage in illegal behavior.
Don't try this at home, whoa!
The first thing I'll do is load up our images as layers in a single Photoshop document, and then label them and put them in the right layer order so I can keep track of everything. The first photo, the background plate, will go at the bottom. Then the photo with the real plug. Above that, our reference plug with the chopped off end, then the real cord, and finally our reference cord with the wires exposed. Now let's start by masking out the chopped off cord so we can composite it over our real cord. I'll use the quick select tool and then just click on the cord. It selected some of the background from the countertop, so I'll just use the lasso tool to remove it from the selection. Just hold Alt or Option to subtract from your selection. And you can hold Shift to add to your selection. Okay, now I'll turn this into a layer mask by clicking this icon down here. So now only our selection is what's showing from this layer, which means we can now see the layer beneath it. I'll just position this to align with the real cord. I think about there is good. Now I'll hide the chopped off cord, create a layer mask for the real cord, and paint with a black brush to remove the plug. We can see our reference plug from the layer below starting to show through, which is fine. Now we want to blend the chopped off cord into the real cord. So back on the top layer, making sure the layer mask is selected, I will paint with a soft black brush. And I might actually rotate this a little bit. If you ever remove too much from your mask, just switch to a white brush and add it back in. Okay, that's looking decent. We can come back and do some touch-ups later, but let's move on to the plug itself. Because the cable I cut is not an exact match, we'll just use the cutoff end and again, composite it over the real cord. I'll hide the chopped off plug layer for now. So here's the photo with the real plug. Remember, the layer mask from the real cord layer is obscuring most of this image, so if we want to reveal more of the cord, we could just paint with black onto the layer mask of the real cord layer. We don't need a lot of cord length here, this should be fine. Now I'll turn my chopped off plug layer back on, but lower the opacity to 40%. Now I'll just position it so the cutoff end lines up with the end of the real plug. That's about right. Now I'll turn the opacity back up, then use the lasso tool to select the end, and then create another layer mask. I just want to align the end up to the cord from the layer below in a place that matches best. I might even rotate this end a little bit. Command or Control T on your keyboard, and then grab the outside and rotate. I will also create a layer mask for the real plug layer and just paint away any remaining cord I don't want showing. Now it's just about blending these two layers. So I want the light reflection from the real cord to continue on the fake end and make sure there are no hard edges or anything else that looks unrealistic. I think this is looking pretty believable. I'll just do some final touch-ups to seal the deal. You know, for demonstration purposes.
Let's get ethical, ethical.
I'll paint out the writing on the fake cable using the clone stamp tool. And a few finishing touches. All right, now I will just resize this image so it's not so big. The smaller size should discourage pixel peeping too much, but if you zoom in, you can still see the inside wires of the chopped off cable, and it's clearly disconnected from the plug, which has a chopped off end. If you've watched our videos before, you probably know that we are pretty big fans of Squarespace. We have been customers of theirs for years, long before this YouTube channel even existed, and still have our 3 Squarespace websites going strong. Usually we do something off the walls for our ad spots, like fake our elopement to trick my mom, spoof old MTV reality shows, or do our best Peloton commercial parody. But I wanted to let you know about some new things cooking over at Squarespace. If you're a photographer looking to diversify your revenue streams, check out their new member areas. This allows you to sell access to gated content like video classes, digital downloads, or newsletters. Frickin' sweet. You can also showcase your photography with Squarespace's professional portfolio designs. Customize the layout, look, and feel to make it your own. Also, you can schedule and book appointments straight from your website. You need to lock in client meetings? Well, they can easily see your availability and reschedule if needed, making your life a heck of a lot easier. And if that wasn't cool enough, you can save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain when you go to squarespace.com/mangostreet, or just click the link in the description. I just want to reiterate, don't do this. This was just a demonstration of what one could do. It doesn't matter how unethical you find a company's policy. Don't do this. Thanks for watching.